Hey, Rajan, good to see you. How are you today?
Likewise, Bob. Thank you. All good so far. Feel blessed.
You've been really blazing the path here around some of the thought leadership around artificial intelligence, or as IBM calls it, augmented intelligence. When you look at sort of the most significant challenges and opportunities in the marketing industry, what do you see, and how do you think about AI?
Bob, in fact, the way I would categorize AI is that is probably going to be the single biggest disruptor and enabler of marketing in total, right? It's not hyperbole or exaggeration. It is absolutely going to be that way. It's already here. So we're not talking about AI coming sometime down the line. And we are already applying AI in so many areas. The results, the speed with which they come, the amount of data that is crunched, the kind of insights that we are actually coming upon, unbelievable. It's unbelievable, right? So I think for me, this is going to be the biggest enabler. It's a dream come true from a marketer's perspective. Now, when I keep saying, that we are at the verge of the next revolution in marketing or transformation in marketing, I sincerely mean it. So as we enter the fifth paradigm of marketing, we are going to be bombarded by at least 24 new technologies, each one of which is capable of gathering data about consumers in an anonymous and absolutely legal kind of fashion. Now, that data that is coming in real time cannot be humanly processed unless you have got something like AI. And when you do have the ability to process it, you can make sense out of it and take action in real time. So both from a real-time execution as well as real-time analysis before that, I think AI is going to be crucial, and that's going to be the single biggest differentiator as far as I see.
So let's unpack a lot of that, because that is a fantastic opening, and we'll come to the fifth paradigm in a minute and sort of the new book that you're going to be publishing. But talk a little bit about, because I think I was sort of somewhat amazed when I got to IBM and I understood the extent that AI was being used in other industries, whether it was in the cyber field, sort of protecting us from cyber attacks, or whether it was in the banking industry. AI had really penetrated into some really fundamental use cases. And it's been around for a while, like you said. It's been 5 years in the making on call centers and read to text to chat. I mean, the AI machine algorithms have been used. What has been the barrier of really breaking it free into the marketing world? And what do you think now has been the change, or will be the change going forward?
See, I think one of the biggest barriers is the knowledge or lack of it amongst marketers. That's the first big one. And second, most of the marketers have actually come up from the qualitative side of the house.
Right.
So when you get AI, firstly, it sounds like some huge mumbo jumbo, a big monster that's coming at you. And everyone and their brother is dropping the word AI, saying that, hey, this is powered by AI. Most of it is unfortunately spin, because when you scratch a little surface and then ask them, okay, how exactly is AI enabling it? You realize that it is not actually factual. And it's just a sales buzz that they are throwing. So marketers are A, not fully knowledgeable, and B, they don't understand what is the truth as far as AI's enablement is concerned, or lack of it. And third, there is this kind of a mystique about it. It's almost like a chess game being played by robots. And they got lots of myths and impressions about AI that they have not really, felt comfortable straying into that area. Now, many of the marketers, in fact, I keep constantly speaking to my peers, in my role as the president of the WFA, and I see that it's amazing how, as a community of marketers, we have got so much more to learn, even the basics. So this is, I think, the biggest barrier. But many of the marketers are amazed when they discover that already AI is being used in many ways in their own activities, in their own companies. They're amazed. And then when you demystify it, when you simplify the whole thing for them and speak in plain English as opposed to the mumbo jumbo, they are ready to embrace, and particularly when they see the benefits of economy, of speed, of the amount of extent of insights that you get, or the kind of quality of execution, the kind of testing that you can do. It's absolutely stunning what all can happen. And this is not just in B2C situation, it's also true for B2B as well. So I would say that the biggest barrier has been marketers' own knowledge or lack of.
Yeah, and I think you said it too. You said sort of the real-time nature of how AI can be applied in a marketer's world. And now with sort of the changes to privacy, mobile identity, the deprecation of the third-party cookie, it's almost forcing marketing to look at how they get to their consumers in a different way. So this idea of having a real-time interaction with your consumer, AI is the only way I think that you could do that, correct?
I would totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And the key thing is when some of the tools and techniques like the third-party cookies tomorrow, if they are disappearing, as Google has mentioned and Apple has talked about their initiative, etc., you need to find alternate ways of getting there. And today, there are not too many alternatives that are seeming to be commercially available or even commercially being developed. Now, you need alternate ways of, even if you don't get the data, looking back or looking elsewhere, to be able to knit the whole picture of your prospects and the lookalikes, to be able to really target in the most probabilistic kind of a manner. Okay, if this is the profile which is working best for me, and this is how people have demonstrated in the past before the cookies have vanished, then how can I, using my current first-party data, be able to get into those channels and those times and those kind of programs that I will be able to bid in real time, win, and make an impact, measure the impact, refine my model. This is going to happen as a continuous cycle, which you cannot do unless you have AI.
Yeah, no, and actually I think too for incumbents, the big enterprises like a MasterCard or another very large enterprise, what you have inside of that first party data is really your competitive advantage, right? So we're looking for third party data to help us do advertising, but now it seems as though if you clean your data up and you get it prepared and you apply AI on top of it, that gives you a competitive weapon you may have not had before. Have you sort of experienced that at MasterCard, and have you been down that path?
See, data is a double-edged sword, right? So you got to be really careful as to who owns the data, the privacy regulations that are to be absolutely followed, both in spirit as well as the word. So taking all those into account, still with anonymized and aggregated data, we are able to come up with incredible insights for our own marketing campaigns today using our first-party data. Third-party data, or if you exchange or combine data in a clean room with somebody else, etc., that can augment. But even without all that, just looking at your own first-party data, and again, I underline, because the privacy advocates will immediately jump saying that here's a misuse and abuse. No, there is no misuse, there is no abuse. This is all completely legal, legitimate, and totally done in spirit, right by the consumer. So it's anonymized and aggregated. The kind of insights we can get, the relevance with which you can make offers to the consumers based on that, are delighting the consumers, as opposed to simply keep throwing things at them and they're getting annoyed with our intrusions. So I find AI already making a huge difference in my own context.
Yeah, no, and I think, look, as you said, the relevance of it, that natural value exchange between the brand and the consumer, if we're able to use that first party, permission-based data appropriately, so that there's a great value exchange, your loyalty goes up. It actually opens up a whole new, and let's now talk about this paradigm in data. So your book debuts next year, Quantum Marketing: Mastering the New Marketing Mindset for Tomorrow's Consumer. Congratulations. I know that's not an easy book to do to publish. And you discuss a concept of the fifth paradigm. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you expect in the space of whether you call it a revolution, an evolution across the marketing landscape?
Happy to, Bob. Very happy to, Bob. So basically, I have been in the field of marketing now for 36 years. And I see marketing steadily moving from stage to stage to stage. So I call each one a paradigm. So we started with product marketing. Then we had the power of emotional marketing. Then we went into digital marketing in the third paradigm, and data-driven marketing when we had the birth of the internet and we had the availability of data and data analytics to the marketers in a highly democratized fashion. The fourth paradigm was with the advent of Facebook, which is the birth of the social media platforms, and the presence of ubiquitous connected devices, i.e. iPhone, and the various competitors of Apple who have come up with these smart devices. Now, each paradigm shift has resulted in a disruption in marketing, and marketing had to fine-tune or redefine their approach and then be effective in the new paradigm. Now, my premise right now is that we are at the verge of the fifth paradigm. Now, unlike in the previous paradigms where there are a couple of technologies, like for example, for paradigm 4, it was social media and mobile devices. For the third paradigm, it is data and internet. This paradigm is going to be powered by dozens of technologies, at least 24 technologies. You got AI, you got AR, you got VR, you got 3D printing, you got drone deliveries. Then you have got autonomous cars, wearables, Internet of Things, smart speakers. The bunch of them which are coming at us, each one of us has got a direct impact on consumers' lifestyles and their behavior, and therefore, consequently, on marketing itself. Now, just to give one simple example, if you look at Internet of Things, where your refrigerator is auto-ordering, and this is not futuristic. MasterCard has developed a refrigerator together with Samsung. Already it's in the market, right? So it looks at the stocks of what you're consuming, what items you have, and whichever is falling short, it automatically orders. It takes you, the decision maker, away from the picture to be able to repeatedly make decisions. So the first time I make a decision in favor of a particular brand and I put it with my refrigerator, that becomes my brand. So if you are the challenger brand which is coming in, how are you going to intervene in the process? And where is the ecosystem to enable that kind of an intervention? And how does a brand show up? Because each connected touch point is a touch point for marketing. And how do you do that in a very non-intrusive, non-annoying, relevant, and compelling manner? That it requires a total reimagining, right? And there are going to be screens for many of these devices. So how do you show your brand up? Right. In cases like smart speakers, there are no screens. Everything is verbal. Now, I spent about 4 years developing the MasterCard's symbol brand, dropping our name, optimizing colors, and doing a whole bunch of stuff on that. But that whole logo will be totally useless in the context of smart speakers, where the medium of interaction is all sound. So you have to come up with a sonic brand. Also, interestingly, for something like the smart speakers, 70% of the people who have got a smart speaker have said that they would use a smart speaker for purchases. And 70% of them said the first recommendation that Alexa makes to them, they will go forward with that. Which means now you got a new gatekeeper or a new influencer, call it whatever, who you have to take care of to be able to get into the stream, right? It's a search engine marketing or optimization in a very different way. Yeah. And so my whole point is that life is going to be extremely different going forward, and marketing will be totally reimagined. It's not just tweaked and moved, but be completely reimagined. And my book is all about what that future will look like, what are the implications to marketing, and what should be the playbook for marketing. So I gave the outline of the playbook and how things should be. So that's what we have been actually doing.
Oh, fascinating, fascinating. So just give us a little peek then, because what you just said is sort of overwhelming. I'm sure all marketers on the call right now listening to our broadcast are saying, oh my God, what is this world going to do? And either they're going to run for the door or they're going to hunker down. So for those that are actually really going to invest the time and learn, how do marketers start preparing for this? You gave a great example around sort of the sonic brand, and you have to start thinking about your brand in multi dimensions now. But from where we are today, we've gone from, like you said, data and digital driven to programmatic. Now we're going to AI. There's a lot of phases, but where are we venturing? And where does creative fit? How does creative become part of this piece?
Absolutely. You see, in fact, creative, its fundamental role remains absolutely intact. If at all anything, it becomes even more important in a totally democratized kind of a world. Differentiation is not going to happen based on data. It's not going to happen based on your technology, because all these will become available to everyone, even a small startup, as much as to a large company. Differentiation is going to be through innovation and creativity. So creative excellence is going to be paramount. But even that creative excellence will be largely supported by, at this point in time, by technologies like AI. That creativity has to be reimagined in the context of the new media. So, for example, are you going to shove in the same ad that you put on a TV or in your on your digital screens onto a television or into an autonomous car, or do you reimagine that? Do you, for example, have, say, VR is going to come in? It has been a little slow in coming, but I think it has immense amount of possibilities because of its immersive nature. In that three-dimensional environment, are you going to still put your two-dimensional ads? You need to rethink, right? That's one part of it. The other part of it is, one of the things I say is, in this fifth paradigm, what I call as quantum marketing is a solution for this. Just like quantum physics came in when classical physics failed, quantum marketing will come in when classical marketing fails, which it already is failing. So quantum marketing is already coming in. So in this quantum marketing, you challenge every single hypothesis and framework. I'll give you a simple example. Let's take loyalty. Brands and companies spend hundreds of billions of dollars annually on loyalty programs. Now, do loyalty programs really work? Now, for me, the genesis of this, when I read an article on BBC.com and I started doing some research, I was fascinated that more than 3/4 of all people in a relationship or in a marriage cheat on their partners. This is in spite of the fact that there is an explicit commitment.
Yeah.
And there is a consequence of not being loyal. If you are caught, your reputation, there is financial implication, there is emotional implication. All these things are there, but still people are not loyal. So my question is, if people are not loyal to their own spouses or to their partners after commitments and knowing consequences, are we as marketers stupid to expect people to be loyal to our brands? So I came up with a new framework of what is loyalty and what is a hierarchy of loyalty, like Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. I came up with the loyalty hierarchy, right? We need to rethink the whole thing and direct our focus on those areas where we know that results can be accomplished based on the new frameworks and be able to measure them in a convincing, compelling fashion. So these are the kind of things I'm looking at, whether it is advertising, whether it is consumer insights, whether it is loyalty, and a whole bunch of other areas that I've covered in the book. And the idea is to demystify, to simplify for a normal marketer who is not technically trained to understand a new technology or a new situation in the new paradigm, in the fifth paradigm.
And in quantum computing, you have to think about these things in parallel all at once.
Absolutely.
Versus sequentially in traditional computing. So I understand the analogy. That is just fascinating, Raj. I'm looking so forward to reading the book and the playbook.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for putting the thoughts around this and helping us stretch our minds about where the world is going. Because it is, to your point, it's going to be complex, but actually the challenges are going to be really, really fascinating to solve.
Totally with you.